Hi, everybody. This is Kimberly.
And this is Katie.
And you're listening to A Date with Dateline. Thank you all for being here. We're so excited to have you. Thank you all for the nice messages last week after I bared my soul about my mushroom experience as a child. The amount of people that said, believe all women, and they believed me. Hashtag not all mushrooms, but yes, in this case, mushrooms. Was so nice that you all just blindly believe me, even though this was probably a false memory. But I really appreciate all of the belief. I appreciate the listener who reached out to the mushroom scientist in the episode and found her email and emailed her, and she does not believe me, which hurts a little, but our listeners believe me, and that's the most important thing.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I have something that may take the sting out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Get it? Sting, because the mushroom,
Mm-hmm.
well, you think it bit you, but
Yeah.
I think it might have stung you.
Well, a lot of people seem to think it was an unseen bug that bit me. No, this mushroom in my mind closed teeth or something around my finger.
Guess who else hates mushrooms or doesn't like them?
Who?
According to Talking Dateline, Blaine.
Yay, my girl.
Bestie Blaine says that she got a bee in her bonnet when she was little and was worried, heard that they were poisonous, and then felt like all mushrooms were poisonous. So she picks them off pizza even to this day. But it's something from childhood that then grew into her not liking mushrooms as an adult.
I think all of us mushroom haters came together collectively and we put The Last of Us into the world so that people would believe us. Because a lot of people believe me now because of The Last of Us, which is a great show. Horrifying victim, fungi.
I think the reason that it's hard is that you are a well-known vegetarian, and the fungi could be a large part of your diet.
Well, that is how you know you believe me, because I should be eating all of these mushrooms according to my dietitian, but I will never because of this phobia. So
do you think I believe that you have a phobia of mushrooms? I 100% believe you have.
No, I know you have it because I've seen you pick them off of my plate before I spotted them to try to spare me.
Of course. The thing that is difficult to believe is the origin story of the hatred, which is the biting of the mushroom. But listen, as a child, if you believe that a plant bit you, you believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think the debate should go any further than that.
Yeah, someone got really mad that you said that. They said, in this day and age, facts matter. And the fact that she believes it does not mean that it's the truth. And I was like, we know that facts matter. We are science-based believers. But she believes me more than she believes science because she's a good friend.
I believe you because you think it bit you. And you've never strayed from that story. And I've known you for a very long time. And that has always been the story. So where does it come from? I believe you believe it and believe all Kimberlys. So how are we? We got to somehow do both. Women got to do it all. Okay, go ahead. What else you have for announcements?
Is BS and not fair. But anyways, thank you. Also, join our Patreon because we've gotten so many messages about Toxic Love Story, which was on Netflix and is the updated Michelle Babes with Coffee. Originally, it was called Diabolical on Dateline, and we did it. And I was so mean that we had to move it to Patreon only. And continuing with that theme, we've done the updated Netflix story, Toxic Love Story, on Patreon as our bonus episode. Katie recapped it for me, and you gotta join our Patreon and listen and see if I apologize to Michelle Babes with Coffee and if I'm less hard on her this time and if I have truly grown as a person. You'll have to listen.
Growth all around, just like fungus.
Yeah.
So what are we doing today?
It's called The Day Dee Disappeared. Love the alliteration. But as you know, I have said many times, I always think the episodes with women's names in the titles tend to be the saddest. So I'd like to rename this one the one where Andrea dresses like a hot sister wife.
Why do you say that?
We see her in a never before seen plaid dress. It's a dress that's long sleeves and to the floor. Andrea is not showing leg like she normally likes to and not showing shoulder like she normally likes to. I think she didn't want a repeat of the sweat bees incident because she's on a farm and she's like, who knows what kind of bugs they have at this farm. She is covered from head to toe.
Because it's not the summer.
No, even in the winter.
She wears a puffer coat and jeans. We've seen it.
Yeah. She never wears plaid, though.
Maybe it's fall.
Anyway, it was shocking. I almost didn't recognize her. And if you saw the latest batch of photos she has put on her Instagram, you would also just go, how's the same person? She just lives in a bikini.
What?
She's just living her best life in short dresses and a bikini. She's a hot mom and she's out there. She's also a respected journalist, and that's why we love her. This episode is season 34, episode 63, and it aired on July 31st, 2026, hosted by our queen, Andrea Canning. Amazing as always.
However, we have had a string of Andrea and Blaine episodes in a row.
Fair.
Where is Dennis? Haven't seen Keith or Josh in a minute. We got like a spurt of Josh, like a minute, half a second.
Yeah.
No,
it's upsetting.
I love the women of Dateline, but we do need a well-rounded cast so that the fans of Dateline don't get really worried.
Right. Like, meaning you.
Meaning me.
Yeah.
Where is Dennis?
Yeah. We need hashtag find Dennis. Hashtag where is Dennis? We might need to like pay for a billboard in Florida.
How about hashtag Dennis, we miss you, so that we don't want to set off alarm that he has actually gone missing. What we want him to know is that we would really love him to come back. We are waiting. Hashtag Dennis, we're waiting.
Right. We're waiting for you in a non-creepy way. We don't want to start a podcast called Dennis Murphy is Missing, like the Richard Simmons podcast, and then create alarm and chaos.
We really don't want to do that. Everyone's on edge anyways right now. Right. So we just need to not do that. So the opposite of that would be great.
If he could just put his face on social media just for a second with today's newspaper, then we'll be happy. So Lester, I'm going to shout out Lester at the beginning because he has a good line. He says, mystery on the farm, fertile ground for secrets. Secrets. Fertile ground. Get it? Farm. Andrea says, there's a certain rhythm to farm life in Lenawee County, Michigan. Tilling the soil. Tilling the soil. I don't know about farms. I'm going to be learning a lot in this episode.
It's definitely
the soil,
not soul.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So tilling the soil, planting the crops, tractors crisscrossing the fields at sunrise. Dee Warner was a 52-year-old and sixth-generation farmer, and she runs a farming enterprise with her husband, Dale. Dee is fiery. We learned that right off the bat. And Andrea says she drives a Hummer. Do we need to say anything else? And her brother says she drives an Escalade, too, so she's both ritzy and rugged.
Thoughts?
I don't know. I drive a Prius. I don't know what that says about me.
When I think Hummer, I think that might be an influencer.
Right.
But maybe I'm tainted.
Right.
I did not think of a Hummer as rugged. A beat up Chevy, rugged.
Right.
And an Escalade, is very fancy pants. Mm-hmm. But to me, both of those cars are fancy.
Mm-hmm.
They're both out of my price bracket by a long shot.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, oh no, I think a Hummer is a ritzy, rough and tumble car.
It is, but it is rough and tumble. It could go on unpaved roads, for example, on a farm.
Can it? Have you been in a Hummer?
No.
I haven't either.
I don't think I could get into a Hummer. I feel like they're quite tall. I might need a step stool.
I would love to see that though.
Yeah, that would be funny.
It'd be really cute, you getting into a Hummer. It'd look like a child.
Yeah, it'd be very awkward. I'd make a lot of grunting noises. That would be unattractive. No, it would be like, like an old man trying to get off of a couch.
I made him cute. You made them grandpa.
Dee has 5 children. And when she missed a breakfast with her grown daughter, this is in 2021, the kids were worried. The daughter calls Dale, who's her stepfather, and says, have you seen her? And he says, I last saw her that morning snoring like a baby on the couch. I don't think babies snore. Why is that an expression?
Would you have preferred him to say snoring like an old dog on the couch?
Yes.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Well, but more accurate. Our facts matter.
Maybe she goes,
Oh, yeah, that's like a baby, I guess.
Which how I would imagine you snore.
No, not at all.
It's not.
I have sleep apnea. So
it's more of the old dog snore.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're meeting Dee's brother, Greg, and wife, Shelly, who has jazzy glasses. They're definitely a statement piece. They tried to call Dee. She didn't answer. They were worried because he and Dee, he says, are not the kind of brother and sister that talk every day about the weather. They don't like call each other every day about the weather. When they call, it's about something important. So they usually answer. And she didn't answer. And he says, she probably sees me calling and thinks, oh, bleep, it's Greg. And he cussed on Dateline. And so I was instantly a fan because I love a bleep on Dateline. I also say, oh, bleep, when my brother calls me, but that's because it's never important. It calls me a lot from Costco.
Opinions on what? On foodstuffs? Or they have a catio right now that I'm kind of interested in. On foodstuffs or on is he constantly making big electronic purchases? Because I can see no other reason why you would call a sibling.
No, and sometimes it's like, do you need toilet paper?
Oh, that's nice. So it's a nice call and you're grumpy.
Well, sometimes it's not. It's like, should we do this? Should we get that? And I'm like, I don't care.
Oh, should we get the warranty on this timeshare?
Grown up. He's a grown up. He's not asking me about warranty things. I don't know what I'm talking about. He's way more grown up than I am. So I don't think he'd be asking me about a warranty. It's more just like he can't make decisions about things. So.
Oh, he just needs an outside party.
And I'm like, listen to your wife. She's with you because they go to Costco together on Saturdays, which is a hellhole. I don't know why they're doing that.
Maybe he's more junk food oriented. So he wants someone to say, yes, you should get that giant thing of Doritos. And she'll be like, no, we're getting this.
I'd be like, I don't want to be involved in your marriage disputes. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Click. That's what I would do. Yeah.
Okay. Doritos. Got it.
So the family is searching all over the farmland. There's lots of offices and barns and buildings. And Dee's purse is gone from the main house. And there are Kleenexes or tissues strewn all over the furniture, which both Shelly and Andrea seem to think is very odd. They've obviously never been to my house during allergy season or any season. I'm probably sitting on 5 tissues. Here's the tissue. Here's the tissue. Yeah. Here's another tissue. 3 tissues right now. Also, the lore of Andrea being a perfect human being or maybe AI generated continues to grow because she has 6 children and doesn't have tissues all over her furniture. What is that sorcery?
I think she's just tidy. Instead of shoving them into the cracks of the couch cushion, she probably has a tiny wastebasket and puts the tissues in it. Because, I have trash cans everywhere. Do things still not go in it? Depends. Most of the time, they don't.
Maybe she just has a weekly housekeeper. Maybe she has a live-in. She might have a live-in, and we don't even know.
Au pair?
Blaine had the au pairs.
Oh, yeah. And Andrea talked about it. That's why I'm remembering it.
Andrea was an au pair, but not an au pair, a live-in nanny for David Hasselhoff.
That's right.
Both of Dee's cars are on the property. So how did she leave without a car? Her brother points out both the Escalade and the Hummer were gone. And I was like, oh, we get it. Okay. This is the second time he's brought it up. He's very into the transportation angle of this story. It's very cute. I really like the brother.
Yeah.
So
me too.
So the kids call the police and report her missing. A deputy goes to the house and he meets Dale. We're seeing it on body cam footage. Dale is unfussed, plussed.
Yeah.
He is unfussed and plussed. He's unbothered.
Completely.
I don't know if she's missing or she might have just left. She does that a lot. I don't know. She was really stressed. She had a fight with some employees, and then she picked a fight with me, and then she went to bed with a migraine on the couch after taking a bunch of migraine medicine. And then I got up early to spray the fields, and when I got back to the house, she was gone. But she had taken her overnight bag and some beauty products.
And what? Taken a cab?
Exactly. Uber?
Taken a tractor?
Right. You're just driving through town.
I did the slowest possible.
Yeah, a getaway car, a getaway tractor.
I feel like she would take the Escalade.
Totally.
She'd just get out of there.
But he says she is left before. She gets mad about something, a bee in her bonnet, and she needs to think. So she goes away for a while, but she always comes back.
A D in her bonnet.
A D in her bonnet, yeah. So the deputy looks at Dale's hands for injuries, and Andrea pretends that she doesn't know that deputies are trained to do this, even though she's been doing Dateline for a long time. She totally knows. His hands are clean, not clean because he's a farmer, but so they have dirt and stuff, but there are no scratches. Then we learn a little bit about Dee from her brother and sister-in-law. She was feisty. So before we got a fiery, and now we're getting a feisty, she was a lot of work, which her brother says. And I was like, oh, we're veering into slightly unlikable victim territory. And I got very excited. Just
it's not
shellacked perfection victim.
Oh no, we're on the outer crust. We're on like a little tiny edge of it.
I just don't like when they were a perfect angel. They never did anything wrong. I want like a little bit of edge, you know?
It makes you feel like you know her more.
Yes.
It makes it 10 times as sad. I gotta say, sometimes it makes it hard because then you're like, oh.
She was a real person.
Who was feisty and fiery. And maybe she argued more than maybe she liked a good argument. I was waiting for someone to say that.
Yeah.
Dee loved a good argument.
Yeah. So she was a lot of work. And Andrea says, so I've heard, and laughs. And I was like, oh, we're getting it. I was so excited. And so she always showed up in full makeup, even at the gas station, even though she would be like in work boots. She'd have tons of makeup. She loved cheetah print. She was very flashy. So she was flashy, fiery, feisty. She loved working hard and earning money. She had 4 kids with her first husband. Then she met Dale, who was another ambitious farmer from a farming family. And they got together and together built this farming empire. Now, she was married. Dale was married with 4 kids. She was married with 4 kids. Their families, their farming families, did not like each other. They were competitive with each other. And they didn't like each other. It was like the farming Capulets and the Montagues. Dale and Dee basically left their spouses for this new farming union with each other.
Oh, boy.
And then we learn that Dee's ex-husband married Dale's ex-wife. And Andrea says, stop it. And like her head goes back and it's a full-on exclamation. Now, usually the hosts know all of this. They've done their research, but she didn't know this little nugget. She loves the drama. I feel like she's writing a Lifetime movie about it right now as we speak.
Oh, yes. It's called Take the Lamb. The farming epic. Hold on. Take the land. Living off the land. No, we love this land. Hold on. Let me workshop this. I'm going to get there.
Tractors of love. I got it. Tractor cross lovers.
You have to do something with attraction and tractor. Those 2 words have to go together.
Attractors.
Attractor.
Yeah, the rules of attraction.
That's it. We did it. Finally. I'm writing it down.
I still like tractor crossed lovers. So star-crossed lovers. Greg and Shelley confirm to Andrea that it got messy because of what was going on with these 2 families. And then the marriage of Dale and Dee, and then the marriage of the exes together. And I would say they're farm people and they're not as titillated by the drama as Andrea and I was. They are just like, yes, it was messy. And I would be like, it was messy. Let me tell you the dirt. And the dirt, get it?
I feel like this was talked about for at least 4 to 5 years after this
Amongst
happened.
the town, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Still is. There was maybe a newsletter.
And people pick sides.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we're also meeting Dee's friend, Catherine, who I feel like was into the drama. I feel like she might watch Bravo. I feel like she's one of us. Also, I did think that she was barefoot.
I did as well. I 100% had to rewind.
I rewound so many times.
We have not seen someone wear their inside clothes out on their B-roll. Like these are inside clothes. And when I say inside clothes, I mean what you and I wear on most days if we're not leaving the house.
Well, like she's wearing a shirt and shorts.
She's wearing like sweat shorts.
Yes. Well, they were casual.
So casual.
But like the flip-flops are so thin and close to the ground and so strappy that it's almost like an invisible strap that you could think was a tattoo on the top of her foot. And so I rewound, I paused, I took a photo on my phone and zoomed in because I thought it was rage bait. I thought they were rage baiting us by having her walk down the street on the sidewalk in the town barefoot.
Also, as a fellow thong wearer, did you think that her wearing that footwear, did it give you pause about your choice in footwear every time we go somewhere where your feet are photographed?
No.
That you might just look barefoot.
Oh, also, just don't call it a thong because we're not in Australia or wherever they say that. Say a flip-flop or a sandal.
They're called thongs.
No one calls them thongs in America. That's preposterous. A thong is what you wear on your booty.
They're both called thongs.
That thong is what's on
You're
your
gonna have
tush.
to call my mom.
Okay, she's wrong. It's probably a regional thing and just not where I'm from. So
Okay.
I don't because my sandals are like always orthotic sandals, very comfortable, very thick straps. So I don't think anyone would think that I was barefoot. And if someone's taking pictures of my feet and putting them on foot photo fetish websites, just send me
It's
some
called
money.
Say Ankle, and it's coming soon. TM, I've already bought it. But it's called Say Ankle, and it's all ankles. A foot might show once in a while, but it's really mainly focused on the ankle.
Interesting. Well, Kevin on These Are Their Stories is always bringing up the actors, what their rating is on wiki celebrityfeet.com, which I'd never know if he's making it up or not. And we're not famous enough to have our feet on there. So I don't really have to worry about that yet.
I have to look that up immediately when we're finished. I did not know that it existed. This is new to me. And I feel like it's in direct competition with my new website.
People analyze the hell out of women's feet on red carpets and the way they are smushed into their high heels. And if they have a wonky toe that's hanging out because their foot can't fit in the shoes, it's photographed. People zoom in.
Yeah, it's called cliffhangers. It's called that on Drag Race. It's very much talked about in RuPaul's Drag Race because shoving feet into shoes or platforms that don't fit, and when your toes are over the edge,
yeah,
it's cliffhanger. Yeah.
So beware if you're a lady on a red carpet. There's a perv somewhere out there analyzing and zooming in and looking at all of your toes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. There are many. Perv needs to be plural. Pervs. Perverts,
many a perv. Which is, I've often thought, could I make money on OnlyFans for feet?
It's called Only Feet or Say Ankle.
But I don't think my toes are that nice. So my big toe is too big. My little toe is too small.
You don't know because it hasn't been rated on Star Toes or whatever. What's it called? What's this web? Is it Clever?
I think it's called wikifeet.com. That's what Kevin always says on These Are Their Stories, but I don't know if he's telling the truth.
But I mean, we're right there with Wikipedia. Why couldn't it be Wikipediatra?
It's wikifeet.com. Feet of the day, feet of the week, happy birthday to. It lists the celebrities' birthdays and their feet.
Do they have furry feet?
I don't know. Are there celebrity furries?
No, but I mean, just like, does somebody have like furry feet? Are men on there or is this just women?
There's men too, but I think the big thing is the women. Yeah. We got to move on. But
we do got to move on. I mean, but this is...
If you guys send me money, I'll send you pictures of my feet. I don't care.
You will not be doing that because I'm going to sign you to an exclusive contract with Say Ankle.
Thank you. My dad actually wants to start a toe beans OnlyFans for Ralphie's feet.
I think that could be a huge hit.
So follow Kimberly's dad, Bob1, on Instagram because he posted a picture of the toe beans for free just to give people a teaser. But then he's going to start charging.
Would he be interested in having interspecies beans on there or not so much? Okay,
yeah,
great.
For sure. Yeah, cat beans, totally. Raccoon beans, whoever's toe beans you got. We're going to make an empire of our own.
Bean of the day. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All-star beans. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I thought that poor Catherine, who is walking not barefoot, was rage bait because I thought she was barefoot. Dee and Dale come together. They make this farming empire. It's worth millions of dollars, and they're growing crops and selling tractors and fertilizer and seeds. And I feel like this is just that IT conversation where I'm just saying buzzwords about farming because I really don't know anything about farming, but I'm excited to learn. I just wish there were cow B-roll in this story since we're on a farm, but it's not that kind of farm.
It's
just
a crop
crops.
farm.
Yeah, no
so
cows.
It's just soil and
yeah.
There's manure. Does that help?
I love manure. So yes. Dale was in charge of farming operations, and Dee handled the money and the employees, and her brainchild was this trucking business. She developed a tough skin because she was managing over a lot of men, and she had a real fiery personality. Once again, fiery. We're getting fiery twice. Feisty, flashy.
No nonsense.
She didn't care whose toes she stepped on.
Uh-oh.
Whose toe beans she stepped on.
Okay.
I wish when they said she didn't care whose toes she stepped on, Andrea had said, could someone with bruised toes have murdered her? Because I feel like Mank would have said something like that. Okay, it's not. It has no charm or wit of the Mank.
It is very cute. I wish you had said it. You sounded adorable.
I did say it, though.
I know. And it sounded cute coming out of your mouth. And I feel like Mank, I don't know if Mank could sell it as well as you. So you should take it as a compliment.
Thank you. But how dare you? So Dale and Dee had one child together, a 9-year-old girl, Angelina, who Dee, of course, dressed up like a mini Dee in cheetah print and brought her everywhere with her. And Dee's brother, Greg, says she brought Angelina with her in the truck, in the car. And I was like, the Escalade and the Hummer? Again. He really likes talking about those. It's like when you get it in a loop in your head and you're like you think, I got to mention those cars again.
Well, and you're a little nervous because you're doing an interview and you're being filmed and then you keep talking about the same thing.
And then you're like in your head, stop talking about the Escalade and the Hummer, but then you keep doing it.
100%.
It's like I kissed a dead dog on the side of the road when I was 16 on a dare. But way
it's not
better.
Even close to that.
It's way better.
It's not even close.
No, it's so much better.
Or maybe he's just anxiety free and is like, I didn't even notice until those dumb ladies brought it up.
I wish that for him. I wish that for everyone, to not have to spend sleepless nights thinking about everything that you've ever said. This was the last time he brought them up.
Okay, that's good.
Angelina was at a slumber party the night Dee disappeared, but everyone knows she wouldn't leave Angelina permanently. She would never leave her for this long. So the family's been searching all of the properties. It's taking a long time because it's thousands of acres of farmland and barns and buildings.
Okay, stop. They searched what?
Farms, the farmland, barns, buildings.
Every
outhouse, chicken house, coop house, barn, garage, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, gas station, car wash, bowling alley,
penthouse, house of ill repute.
Mm-hmm. Every sex shop, every
fashion house.
They do paintball over there. So we looked over the paintball course. The Fugitive. Thank you. The movie, yes. The Fugitive.
Tommy Lee Jones. So anyways, they were searching.
They were searching. They were a little worried about her mental health because she had been very stressed and had wanted a break from things. So they were worried that she had harmed herself. They're looking for her body. They don't find it.
But does that track with Dee?
No, not really.
None of the family is going to, okay.
On day 2, a detective shows up and Dale still doesn't seem worried and thinks she's going to come back soon. But after a few more days and a few more visits from law enforcement, he does start to seem more worried. And he says, she wouldn't have left Angelina for this long. It's been a few days now. And also, I just noticed that she left her wedding ring behind. And she'd never done that before. So they look at the security footage from the farm to check out Dale's story, and they see him going out early in the morning to spray the crops or whatever.
To crop
dusting. And everyone says that Dale was the nicest guy and a loving husband, and he didn't have a temper. She was the hothead. And Andrea says, so she was like the bad cop and he was the good cop. She's like, I've heard from all the family members how difficult she was. The word fiery has been used several times. and I haven't gotten a single "her smile lit up a room" soundbite to use. So that's saying something. Dale continues doing his farm chores even as the detectives and police are searching the farm. We see him spraying down things in a barn. It's very much like the suspects and witnesses on Law and Order when they continue to unload crates or, clean glasses behind a bar as they're talking to the homicide detectives.
Stage business.
Yeah, stage business. Dale's like, I got farm chores. They don't stop just because my wife is missing. The crops got to be dusted, etc.
Soil has to be tilled.
So detectives bring in cadaver dogs and drones with infrared cameras. They learn that Dee's phone went off the grid. I'm assuming that means just shuts off and they can't trace it after 7 a.m., the morning she disappeared. And she hasn't withdrawn any money from ATMs or used a credit card. And Dale says, she wouldn't have to because we both keep a lot of cash around. And the detective assumes he means maybe like a few $100s. And Dale says she could have as much as $50,000 or $100,000 in cash.
What's going on? Drugs, schmugs. Something's happening.
Are they Colombian drug lords in Michigan?
Are they growing illegal plants?
Is there marijuana?
I was more thinking like poppies. Is
Poppies?
there a section of I don't know.
Andrea cannot fathom having that much money on me because I feel like Andrea just walks around and people just buy her things.
I mean, that's an unbelievable amount of, the price of a Hummer, isn't it? How much is a Hummer?
I think it's
That's
a lot.
crazy. She could have just bought a Hummer and maybe she didn't take the Hummer or the Escalade because she just bought another car.
They have a large safe on the property that they keep a lot of cash in for unknown reasons. Maybe they don't believe in banks. Maybe they're like those kind of people that don't believe in banks. She could have flown somewhere using that cash. So they notify the FAA to see if she flew anywhere, but no, her passport wasn't used anywhere. Dee's brother, Greg, said she had a lot of admirers and she had a flirtatious personality. So she's fiery, feisty, flashy, and flirtatious. The quad F.
And fabulous. Okay.
She is fabulous too. Detectives ask Dale, could she be having an affair? And he says, no way. But the police investigate and it turns out she was having an affair. There's a married builder from town that she was in relations with. And then Andrea proceeds to say the word lover 3 times in a row, which I did not love. When you have a married lover, it could be the lover. It could be the lover's wife. So they find the lover and he says it was just a fling. So she was fiery, feisty, flashy, flirtatious, and flinging. He says it was nothing serious. They're like, okay, he would have no reason to hurt her. It wasn't anything serious. She didn't just break up with him and he would be angry about that. Then Andrea says to the detectives, a lot of people didn't like Dee, which...
my goodness.
We've already gathered. But I didn't expect Andrea to just say it flat out. And the detective says, yeah, absolutely. People either loved her or hated her, or they hated her but still kind of liked her, or they thought she was a nice lady even though they also kind of hated her. Sounds very complicated, people's feelings around Dee.
And she's rich, right?
Yeah. She might be your boss, but you kind of hate her, but sometimes she's nice, but then she'll get into a yelling match or like,
Right.
Sometimes people that are that hot-headed can also be very charming when they're not being hot-headed.
That's true. Would you say that she created an agriculture of fear around the farm?
Yes, I would say that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting on it. It had to come out. It was giving me like heartburn.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
So the police go over the security footage from the farm and they find an early morning visitor at 3 a.m. The detective says that's red flags are going off everywhere.
The fling?
Could it be the fling at 3 a.m.? Who goes onto a farm at 3 a.m.? I know there are early morning workers here, but 3 a.m. seems a bit extreme. So it turns out...
I'm taking that flag.
No, you
I'm coming
can't.
to your house and I'm taking... What do you mean I can't?
I'll hide it.
You won't know. I'll find it.
I'll get a safe and put it in there.
If you put it in your couch cushion where the tissues are, I'm going to find it.
You're going to dig through my gross cushions for the flag? I don't think so.
To get that flag?
So it turns out the person driving onto the farm at 3 a.m. is Dee's right-hand man in the trucking business, Todd. And Todd, like odd, was one of the employees that she had just had a fight with before she went missing. So that's strike against Todd. On the security footage, they see him pull up to the farm 3 a.m. and then he leaves with one of their huge semi trucks. And he signs in on the electronic truck log with a different driver's name and using a different driver's ID number. So
interesting.
That's very sus. They go to talk to Todd, and he seemed very cold and kind of evasive, but they push him harder, and he finally admits that he had been lying about something, but it wasn't Dee's disappearance. He had driven out of state with a truck longer than he was supposed to, because there are rules about how long you're supposed to take a truck for and how far you're supposed to go to deliver goods. And he had bent the rules to go on this long drive out of state with this truck.
Do you know that sometimes when you see trucks, if you're going somewhere a long distance, you'll see trucks sort of lined up on the side?
Mm-hmm.
That's because they can't drive anymore.
Yeah.
That day. But they didn't make it to whatever. I don't know. I might have been lied to about that.
I think there are a lot that bend the rules because they're put under strict pressure to
a lot of pressure.
The bottom line, and the money is all that matters to their bosses, even though sometimes they're driving so exhausted that it causes really unsafe conditions for them and other passengers on the road. There have been accidents where they've killed people because they were so sleepy, but because they had this pressure from their bosses to keep driving.
They have to get there. Yeah. Deadlines.
He was worried he was going to be in trouble for bending the rules. That's why he was being cagey. Not that he had anything to do with Dee's disappearance. So months pass. Dee is featured in Dateline's Missing in America series, which is back as of this past week. So go listen on your podcast app, Dateline's Missing in America. You might solve a crime. You might solve a cold case.
I might.
And anybody who's listening, you could be the one that solves a cold case. How incredible would that be?
We did solve a crime. Please stay tuned to this channel for Kimberly and I solving a crime through footwear. #sayankle.com. Go ahead.
Speaking of footwear, Dee's friend Catherine, who is not barefoot, starts a Justice for Dee movement with bracelets and flyers. Shelly, the sister-in-law, vows she's not going to take the bracelet off until they get justice. Dale told Dee's nephew, Parker, that he was struggling and he's been doing mundane tasks around the farm to keep his mind occupied, and when he can't sleep because he's upset over Dee. He says, I'm painting these giant tanks, and that's one thing I'm doing in the middle of the night to keep my mind occupied.
What did you think that meant?
I don't know anything about such things.
I didn't know it was just painting. I thought it was maybe artistically painting.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm. And I went to Hank Hill teaching Bobby about how you have to clean the tanks properly to shine. And that's because you'll lose too much gas through the evaporation process if there's dust on them. I don't, something. I got to rewatch. It's back on now. That's all. I'm very happy. It's back on. Police clear the employee Todd who took the truck. They also clear the married lover from town.
I would like more info on that, but that's fine.
What about the other employee who she also had a fight with? Can we get more on that too? One night, Shelly is up watching a true crime show and she sees this private investigator. And she had been told that no body cases are rarely prosecuted. But the private investigator on the show is saying, just because you're good at hiding a body doesn't mean you're not a murderer. And we should still go after you. So she is impressed by this PI and she decides to track down the PI. His name is Billy Little Jr., which seems repetitive. He decides to take the case pro bono. He tells Shelly, I'll go wherever the evidence leads me. And if it leads me to you, be careful, which is his standard spiel.
He's got an intense aura around him. There's something very There's nothing small about it. He's very.
He's
I think
he's
I'm worried he's like got a thing about his name, and so he's like he's very fiery. So maybe he is the perfect.
Let's say fiery
what
for
happened.
Dee.
We're gonna say fiery. Mm-hmm.
So he drives 10 hours from Missouri in his truck with his sleeping bag and a whiteboard. And he's going to work.
How big is the whiteboard? You can't have a whiteboard. Well, you need an iPad. You need a clipboard. I've got a clipboard here. You need you can't have a whiteboard. What if something gets wiped off accident? Whiteboards are they're rife for trouble.
Well, he needs some sort of murder board that he can do the red string. Usually cork
board
is preferred.
Cork, poster board, something that's permanent.
Chicago PD, they use a whiteboard and they tape pictures to it. And then they sometimes draw and write on it. You just got to trust that it's not going to get erased, I guess.
That someone could come in there and just go.
The killer comes in, erases their name, and then the killer gets hired onto the nighttime cleaning crew of the police squad. And goes in and erases their own name and all of the evidence against them. And then they'll just forget about them as a suspect because it was erased. So they're not going to even think about them again.
Has that been a storyline yet?
No, but that should be.
Okay.
So Billy Little Jr., he sends
They could call it the Expo, Chicago PD, an expose because expo markers.
Yeah, I like it.
It's really
erasing the truth.
Yes.
So he sends up drones looking for Dee all over the property. He talks to everyone in her circle. He walks the property on foot with Greg. One day they're walking. Dale comes up and he is not happy. He gets angry and he has words with Greg. And I thought Dale never got angry, but apparently he does.
But is Billy Little Jr. sleeping on a sleeping bag on his property?
Maybe.
With his whiteboard?
Which maybe that's why Dale was upset. Dale does not like people on the property. He had been very helpful to the police, but after a certain point, he was getting really sick of everyone searching the property all the time. They make that pretty clear.
This guy who came out of nowhere in a truck and is sleeping in the back of his truck.
With a whiteboard in the bed of the truck.
With a whiteboard in the bed that he's like putting saran wrap over so no one wipes anything. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Imagine he's trying to drive through like the local drive-through to get food and he has the whiteboard in it and the sleeping bag. It's like a whole ordeal.
I just can't deal with the whiteboard. Like it's so easy to wipe stuff off that it's stressing me out.
You don't trust his entire operation because of the whiteboard.
I really don't.
Yeah.
The sleeping bag and whiteboard combo were stressing me out. I was like,
get a camper van or a cheap RV or something if you're going to be driving across the country.
Or a hotel.
Or
is the Best Western too far? What's going It makes me feel like you're sneaking onto the property that you've got a sleeping bag.
Maybe.
The only other thing is that you didn't say tent. Tent, I would have been like, okay, well, you're trespassing now. Mm-hmm. This is a problem, Billy Little.
He's frogging in the walls of the farmhouse.
Right. He's in the barn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Billy says he thought this was an odd reaction, and Greg was also suspicious of Dale because Dale had never participated in a single search of Dee. That's always just crazy sus.
That's weird.
Just pretend at least to search. He had also seemed very detached when she went missing. And Greg was also suspicious of her leaving the wedding ring story that Dale told because he says she would never have left him anything, which I thought was very interesting.
That's harsh.
Yeah. So Billy learns that there were a lot of fights between Dale and Dee over money, and people had witnessed these heated arguments. Dale had made it seem like the fight they had right before she went missing was just nothing and not a big deal. But according to friends, Dee was planning to tell Dale that she was selling the trucking business and wanted a divorce. So Billy starts to think Dale killed her. And the whole family basically thinks that Dale killed her. Greg's son, so Dee's nephew, Parker, lives next door to Dale. And he's scared that Dale might target him to stop his dad, his justice campaign. I don't think Parker was ever in danger because something happened to Parker. Who do you think they're going to look at? Dale, who lives right next door,
Billy.
and
Billy
his wife
Little.
disappears. No.
Oh, not Billy Little. I mean, they might look at him if he was in a sleeping bag.
But Parker was very scared and slept with one eye open and a gun on his nightstand.
I could see Billy Little just leaning up against his truck, arms folded, just giving the stare down to Dale. Can't you see that?
Yes.
We didn't see that in B-roll, but I could
The stink
kind
eye.
of see that.
Yeah.
Well, sunglasses, so you can't see the facial expression, but it's not a smile.
What if you tilt the sunglasses down to do the stink eye and then put them back up?
What about ojo?
What if you go like this? You mess with the bull, you get the horns.
Yeah, what's that called?
It's called the Three Stooges.
Oh, that's great. It's the Larry, Curly, and
They
Moe.
would do that thing. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, that's good.
Greg decides to go public with Dale being the murderer. So he holds a vigil for Dee, and they have a lot of these vigils, and they have a microphone, and they're, talking in front of the crowd. And he publicly says, I think that Dale killed my sister. And he just says it all out there. Now that this makes the town split into two in terms of opinions. Sounds like they were already kind of split because of the families thing, but then
100%.
Maybe some of that had been glossed over in the past 10 years, but now they're split again because you have Dale's kids and his customers and employees are sticking by Dale, but you have all of Dee's family supporters think that he did it. Parker says it was like the Hatfields and the Jack McCoys. I've been watching a lot of Law and Order.
Yes, you have.
So he says you're either a Justice for Dee warrior, which is what they called themselves, or you're Team Dale. I feel like Team Dale needs a better name if you're going to have the warriors on the other side.
I think it should be Justice for Dee and Dale, or hashtag Dale is innocent.
Right.
Leave Dale alone.
Leave Dale alone.
And is Dale's email daleofhay1@gmail.com? That'd be great, right?
Dale of Hay.
Dale of Hay.
Mm-hmm. Dee's family and friends pressure the sheriff's department, and they do rallies outside the station trying to get the sheriff's department to do something. After 15 months, the sheriff's department basically hands the case over to the Michigan State Police. Those investigators and prosecutors come in with fresh eyes, and they have a lot of resources, and they have lots of 8x10 photos on their desk, and they are ready to get down to business. They do another exhaustive search of like 3,000 acres, but they can't find Dee still. They search Dale's devices, though, and he was Googling things like how to cremate someone using liquid chemicals.
No. I've seen too much about Snowtown, and I've seen too much on Dahmer. We're not doing anything with chemicals. Dale, that's really creepy.
Is a barrel involved? I don't like it.
No.
Yeah. The morning that Dee vanished, he also logged into the farm security system, and they think he was looking for footage that might implicate him somehow. But really, it's a circumstantial case. They're not sure how to proceed.
They don't have a body.
But the family says, we want you to go for it. So they arrest Dale and charge him with murder, and this is 2.5 years after she disappeared.
That's a powerful family, by the way.
Yeah.
That doesn't always happen.
Doesn't always happen. While they're waiting to go to trial, they're still searching for Dee. Brother Greg remembers that a day or two after she went missing, they were down getting fertilizer in the sprayer barn, and he saw an old tank. And he says what kind of tank it was. He says anhydrous, which I had to look it up because it's been a long time since AP chemistry.
Oh, my word. Did you just drop that you had AP chemistry?
I didn't do well, obviously. I didn't know what this meant. So no, it was not a brag.
No one's going to expect you to remember that. Some of us wouldn't have even dreamed. AP chemistry was not in the cards for some of us.
Anhydrous means a substance free from water. And these tanks actually are anhydrous ammonia, which is a dry, pungent gas. How dare you? I have digestive issues. Stored as a pressurized liquid used heavily as a crop fertilizer. These are huge tanks. This is not like a fire extinguisher tank. These are huge tanks that you'd see on a giant flatbed truck on the freeway, and you would switch lanes to get away from them because you saw Final Destination 2, even though there was logs. Like, you'd be nervous to drive behind them, I feel like. But they're huge. There's four of them.
Big.
There's four of them, and they take up the whole barn. I'm trying to... They're large is what I'm trying to explain. And he had told Parker that he had been painting these to clear his mind when he couldn't sleep. And Parker had thought that was weird. Greg had mentioned these tanks to the sheriff's department right away when Dee went missing, and they did nothing with that information. Surprise, surprise.
Hold on. I've been doing it.
What are you doing?
Haven't you seen the guy? There's a guy that does current events, and he does every time it's a surprise. Hang on. My legs are weird. Hang on. It's going to be worth it. This will be worth it. Okay. Every time he does like current events, and every time he goes, surprise, surprise. There you go. And my extension's not good. He does this and he's like smiling, surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, it's so funny. Adam, if you know who I'm talking about, please insert his TikTok handle here. He is delightful.
Also, do you want to use that as the thumbnail for this episode with both of our legs up?
Surprise.
Yeah, I can't do it again.
I can't. That's it. Oh my goodness. Okay. Did it. There we go.
Oh, feet. You can see my feet.
We do not need anybody freeze framing that. You said you wanted money for it, and now you're going back
I just give it away for free.
Why is this happening?
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Also, we're seeing Greg in his office, and he has a figure on his desk that is cow-shaped and says faith, family, farmers, and friends. And I kind of wish that it also said fertilizer.
What are the F's?
Faith, family, farmers, and friends. And I wish on the back it had said fiery, feisty, flirtatious, flashy.
Fertilizer.
Flingy fertilizer. So Greg brings the tanks information to the state police, and they actually do something with it. They go searching for these tanks, and they find the one that had been painted 3 miles away and on another one of Dale's properties in another barn that is falling apart and looks like a murder shed. Terrifying. They're worried if they cut it open, they're going to get exploded, that it could be very dangerous. So they say to Greg, who is basically part of the investigation now, they're asking Greg for advice. What do you know where we can get a tank like this X-rayed? And Greg says, yeah, when you cross the Canadian border, they have a giant X-ray so that they can X-ray the trucks going through at customs. They take this giant tank to customs at the Canadian border, and they look at the X-ray, and they instantly see a fully detailed silhouette of a human body laying face down.
Wow.
They open up the tank, and Dee is in there in her pajamas still, and she's wrapped in a tarp.
That's so sad.
She's died of strangulation and blunt force trauma to the head. And it appears that after she died, he wrapped her mouth and nose in duct tape, which Andrea says is symbolically, I'm shutting you up forever. And then she goes, if he did this. I mean, she adds it real quick.
Allegedly.
We haven't had the trial yet. Allegedly. We haven't had the trial yet. Now it's been 5 years since Dee disappeared, and Dale is going on trial in 2026. A friend of Dee's testifies that she was crying the day she disappeared and had blotchy spots on her neck, and she had said she was done with Dale. And her son also testifies that she was done with the businesses and with Dale. So they think he snapped, and his motive was money because the trucking business that was her baby was the profitable one of all the businesses. So if she took that away, the whole thing would fall apart. Also, during one of his interviews with detectives, he's being interviewed at his house in front of some very brown bananas. And I was like, somebody throw those bananas out or make banana bread real quick. So he says to the detectives how he's been through one divorce and it's so expensive and he doesn't want to go through another one for any reason. It's not worth it. So they think he put her body in the front end loader which is some kind of vehicle, and moved her body to the spray barn. He hid her body in the giant safe that was in there that they kept all this cash in. Then after a couple days, he moved her body to tank 34, which was the one that he painted. He welded the tank shut. He painted it. He applied those inspection decals that say like hazardous materials and such. All of the work that he was doing around the farm while they were searching that they thought was just farm work, they think was actually covering up the murders. Like we see him hosing down the barn and he's standing right next to that giant tank. Also, he had warned the police about chemicals in the barn and told them don't have the cadaver dog search there. And he says there's chemicals on the floor and it'll soak up through the dog's feet, through their toe beans. And it killed one of our shepherds, he says. So don't take the cadaver dogs there. And I was like, I don't like this, even if this is a fake made up story. No dead dogs on Dateline. Then he gets more brazen, and there's footage of him when the investigators are there using a drone to search the property. You see the front loader driving with the giant tank on the front, like right past the investigators. So they're thinking that was very bold of him. Parker, the nephew, is at the trial hearing all this evidence, and he thinks, wow, there were so many clues that I just missed because I didn't know what I was looking for. And Andrea says all these little Easter eggs, which made me think of Taylor, and that made me cheer up slightly after the dead dog comment. After the tank had been seized by detectives, Dale calls his son from jail, his son, Jaren, which is a name, I guess.
Why didn't you just name him Jareth? Are you trying to not name him after the Labyrinth character? Jaren. Like Jared, but with an N. That feels like an argument. Somebody wanted to name him Jared. Somebody wanted to name him Darren.
Yeah.
Jaren
says they seized the tank and they're going to x-ray it or something. And I'm like, what the F? What an effing waste of time.
Jaren.
I know. Stop cussing, Jaren. And Dale says, great. And Jaren says, yeah. And then there's this really long pause. And Dale says, whoa, well, that's not good. So they think from this, Jaren was involved because Dale is upset they're x-raying the tank. And he says this, he shows his displeasure towards Jaren, who doesn't say, like, why isn't that good? Like, why is it bad? That who cares if they x-ray the tank? It's a waste of time, like I said. He doesn't say that. So presumably he knows that it's not good that they're x-raying the tank because they think Jaren knew that she was in the tank.
No, that's weird to me because to me it feels like Jaren isn't listening. He's just talking and then sort of doing something else. You don't know what Jaren's doing.
You don't know Jaren's life. His name is Jaren. He lives a life we could not dream of.
Jaren, DJ Jaren. Very easily could be making EDM music on the side. Mm-hmm. But regardless, I very strongly feel like he's just, this part of the conversation, if you are just believing that your dad didn't do it, anything he's saying right now, that's not good, could just be like, oh, they're going to this length.
They're still searching. They still think I did it.
Like, this is how far they're going. They're driving a truck to be x-rayed. That's how far they're going. So it could just be that. I don't know if this proves, unless there's something else that Dateline isn't telling us.
I mean, he does say this is an effing waste of time.
Right, he does. So that leads me to believe he's just annoyed.
Although he might be thinking they are recording this call since you're in jail.
Did it sound genuine to you? Does it seem genuine? It feels genuine to me.
So they think Jaren is involved and they actually arrest him, but they end up dropping the charges. But they still think that he knew what was up. So at the trial, a forensic scientist testifies that Dale's fingerprint was found on a decal on the tank, which to me means nothing because it's his tank. It's his farm. It's his. Why wouldn't it be on there? I don't understand. And later, the defense says the same thing.
Yeah, I don't get that. I I don't want to go back to this, but I need to. I'm so sorry. Is his first wife's name Karen?
No, I did.
Dale's
Karen
first wife?
and Darren. Is that Darren?
No, Karen.
Jaren. I mean, Jaren and Darren.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, because then I feel like they would name him Darren. Dale and Karen. Darren.
We're going to need more info. Okay, go ahead.
Some unfortunate evidence that they have is these internet searches that Dale made in the days after Dee disappeared. One is on Gizmodo, which is a search engine.
Not really.
My dad just started using this new search engine on his iPad because Safari was not working for him, and I've never heard of it.
Was it Gizmodo?
No. I don't know what it was. It had a weird name that I was like, a Duck Daddy?
Dynasty? Not Duck Daddy. Better not be Duck Daddy.
Something I thought with a duck.
I'm really concerned.
I was concerned too. You can't trust these old people with their electronics. He's probably getting catfished or something. He searched on Gizmodo, what is liquid cremation and why is it illegal? Not good. And then from Google, what to do with a 1,000-gallon propane tank and propane tank accessories.
Can I drive propane tank into Lake Michigan?
So Dale has a high-profile defense attorney, Mary Chartier. She's been called a pit bull in heels and Mike Tyson in the courtroom, which I assume means she eats jurors' ears. So she says there's no real evidence. It's all circumstantial, even though we know that circumstantial evidence is still evidence. Otherwise, it would be called circumstantial poopidence instead of evidence.
Come on.
It's called circumstantial evidence for a reason. It's evidence.
Yeah.
So she says Dale would have never had time to kill Dee and move the body, weld the tank shut, and he's on security footage doing chores all over the property instead of doing these things. But I'm sure he could do it and make it look like it was proper, like chores, and he knows where the cameras are.
100%. He knows exactly where they are.
He never told the family they couldn't search in certain places, like don't search near this giant safe. Don't search near this tank that I'm painting.
But he did.
Well, he did. He did exactly do that. He said, don't let the cadaver dogs go into the barn because there's chemicals. She says that jail cell call where he says, oh, that's not good, was more like annoyed that they're back on my property again. They're going to tear things up. And Dale's fingerprint on the tank wasn't surprising because it's his farm. That's what I said. They don't know that the tank that he's moving in front of the investigators is the same tank on security footage. And all they were saying was he was brazenly moving that tank. They know that it might not have been the same tank. It still doesn't prove whether he did it or not. They were just...
Yeah.
So she says Dale is calm and even-tempered, and he's not the type of person to snap, even though it is always that kind of person that snaps, because you never hear about a crazy, angry, screaming person who snaps because they're already snapping all the time.
Yeah, Dee didn't snap.
Yeah, she always was snapping.
Yeah.
You can't snap if you're already snapping all the time.
Yeah, snaps to that.
The jury finds him guilty of second-degree murder instead of first-degree murder, because they don't think it was premeditated. The family is very relieved, even though they would have liked first-degree murder.
She was in her pajamas.
Which, to me, means it happened in, like, the heat of the moment when they were in a fight.
See, to me, it means she was asleep on the couch. He came up to her and covered her mouth and nose in duct tape and then strangled her. That's what that sounds like.
How long do you have to meditate for it to be premeditation?
20 minutes. I don't
Law, can you call us?
I think that's up to the attorneys to argue. I don't know if there is a set time on that.
The family is relieved. They would have liked first-degree murder, though. Greg says it wouldn't be in my character to say I was satisfied because he will never be satisfied.
There you go.
You knew it was coming. Greg told the prosecutors the good news is you're free of me, but the bad news is it should have been first degree.
Oh, Greg.
her friend Catherine says, I never gave up because she would have burned the whole town down until she found out what happened if it had been one of us. And I thought that was sweet. Dale shows up at his sentencing in tangerine orange prison suit and Crocs, because if it's not bad enough that you're going to prison, you have to wear Crocs. Just kidding. People love their Crocs.
They do.
Don't come at me, Croc people. It was just a joke. Apologies.
You might want to take that out.
I'm worried about the hate mail from the Croc community.
We don't need the heat.
No, I don't. I've got enough heat on me.
In this environment,
yeah.
We don't need any more heat. It's hot enough outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the family speaks at his sentencing, and Shelley symbolically takes off her Justice for Dee bracelet because they finally have gotten justice for her. Dale's attorney reads a statement from Dale that says he loves his wife and he maintains his innocence. So he's not admitting anything. He gets up to 70 years in prison. He'll be eligible for parole when he's 91 years old. And Greg says, hopefully he's extremely old and extremely dead when he comes out of there.
He does not mince words. That is...
I loved it.
Okay. Thank you, Greg.
I loved it.
Greg is also a straight shooter, just like Dee.
Totally. And then Greg's son, Parker, says, I hope he's sent away as far away as possible so his family can't visit him because we don't have visitation rights in heaven. And I was thinking, intense. I bet there's some scientists working on it right now, though.
I bet there's some psychics working on it.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Same thing.
A psychic scientist? Okay.
Yeah, psychic scientist. Yeah. Are there such things? So Shelley says that Dee was the life of the party. We end with a life of the party and a Spitfire. So if you forgot that she was fiery, she's also a Spitfire.
Spitfire. Mm-hmm.
And on her gravestone, they do not have Dale's last name because he has no control over her anymore. And I loved that.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was a really good episode. I think we might be going into repeats next week. I'm not sure. We got to figure out what we're doing. But this was a great episode. Andrea was fabulous as always. And
always.
Please check out our Patreon where you can hear Toxic Love Story and early episodes ad-free and all sorts of fun stuff.
And Kimberly, you don't have to be killing at farmersonly.com.
Great. Loved it.
Deconstructing a crime.
Yeah, great.
This is a certified disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Bad husbandry.
Okay. That's a thinker, but it's really good. Yeah.
It's really good. Mm-hmm. That might be my favorite one.
Thank you. And make sure you follow us on Instagram. And while you're on Instagram, looking at our fun reels that our Adam has put together, and they're so good. Also follow But Was That Shade, which is our friend Natalie's account, which is Shade. It's a lot of photos of Josh Mankiewicz. She just did a What Mank Zodiac Sign Are You? And it's a bunch of Mank expressions. And
that's great.
Aligned with your zodiac sign. So she's...
Is yours correct?
No, I think it's correct with what people think my sign is supposed to be. But is not me because I am somewhat of an outlier, I think, for my sign.
Also, check us out on WikiFeet and toebeans.com.
And follow our YouTube channel for full-length videos and fun graphics and editing that Adam's doing. It's really he does such a good job. Please follow us on YouTube, subscribe, even if you're not going to watch. We can use the subscribers. It really helps us grow, and leave us a 5-star review. And that's all. We will see you next time. Be your own tractor.
What was our rules of attractorson? I really did like that. I think that was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
It was excellent.
Thank
you,
everybody. Bye, everybody.
Surprise, surprise. Do it. Get your foot up. You got to join our YouTube so you can see quality entertainment like this. Stop looking at our feet. Stop zooming out. Feet are out of the shot. Bye, everybody. Cheers, creeps. Kimberly, get your foot out. Oh, my gosh.